This is the plaintiff, Solomon Wasserman. He says he rented a room in his house to the defendant who was going through a divorce, and he paid him rent. A few months later, he started bringing women into his house and stopped paying rent and ended up stealing a sofa from him. Bottom line, he was so nice, and this is how it ends up, a lawsuit? He's suing for $1,630, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Baruch Nemtsov. He says the plaintiff had a big house, told him he could stay with him because he enjoyed the company, and refused to accept rent from him. As a nice gesture, he paid the cable bill, and everything was fine, until the plaintiff woke him up and told him his wife didn't like him and that he had to move out. Huh? Now the guy's also suing him for rent they never had an agreement on? Come on. He's accused of not paying the rent. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,216.44 for cable bills he paid.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Solomon Wasserman, you are suing Baruch Nemtsov for $1,630 in rent. A shofar, you say, he took from you, new locks, and leaving you to pack his belongings. You are counterclaiming against him all of the cable, phone, internet bills that you paid during the short time that you folks lived together. Tell me what happened here. How did you two know each other?
We were members of the same synagogue, Young Israel of Long Beach.
Okay. And what happened here?
Mr. Baruch Nemtsov became a member, and he was coming over there. He was staying in front of me, next bench to me. That's how we got to meet each other. Later on, unfortunately, he had some problem with his wife, and they went into the separation and further into divorce proceedings. And either Baruch asked me or I offered it out of a good heart that he can stay with me because I have indeed a relatively substantial house. I have rooms which were not used, so I offered him to...
Who did you live with in that house when you had him?
At that time, I was alone. Right now, I'm already married.
Right now, you're married. Okay, so at the when does he come into your home?
I don't remember exactly the months. Probably it's somewhere April
Do you remember when you moved in?
Around March.
Okay, and you moved in because you separated from your wife?
I met Solomon in the synagogue, and he offered to let me keep whatever I need for storage in his empty house. So I asked him for a temporary room to stay.
Were you supposed to pay rent or no?
No, he said, please do not pay me, it's all free. You could use storage, even before I asked him to stay there myself. But he also, again, reminded me, it's out of the goodness of my heart, and I would appreciate your company.
If you're renting a room, how is it the goodness of your heart? You're either renting it or you're not. I mean, what is good? How does goodness of heart mean? He owes you all this back rent.
Indeed, in the beginning, it was a goodness of a heart to help him to store his stuff. Later on, when he started to live with me in the house, at one point I thought that $250, the rent that I will ask for the boarding of Baruch Nemtsov to stay in my place, would be a very, very reasonable place.
That's fine, but did he agree to that? Because he was already living there and you weren't charging him rent.
Yes,
right?
he agreed.
Okay, so now it's not that, he was supposed to pay rent from the beginning. It's that in the middle you said to him, I want you to pay $250 a month in rent. Did he ever pay $250 a month?
He suggested, because his money were tied up in a lawsuit with his wife, that it would be easier for him to use the credit card and pay some of my bills.
Okay, and then he proceeded in May, June, July, August, September, and October, he paid the Verizon bill. Do you have proof of what you paid Verizon? These are the credit card receipts?
I have the credit card receipts matching the Verizon bills.
How much do you think he paid in the cable bill and all that?
Some of them were $100+ Then I bargained them to come to the cheaper plan, so it started $88. But I don't remember the charges of $600.
Okay, it's $1,216.44.
And I dispute it.
I see the proof of that.
Okay, I disputed the $600. It seems to be
The
outrageous.
$600 is everything he paid in July. There's one payment that I'm seeing on his credit card for $540, and then another one for the $88. That's how it comes up to the $628.30.
Is
so
it for
the,
this
the
account?
amounts are correct. He did pay $1,216.44.
Is it for my telephone account?
Yes, it's that account. I'm saying, so he's not paying somebody else's bill, and you know the
Verizon account number matches.
and the account number matches the address. All right. Tell me about the shofar he took. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, shofar.
Okay.
It's a horn from an animal which is used on Rosh Hashanah for Jews to blow. Right?
Okay, so it's that.
It was stored in my living room. Baruch saw it. He goes on Saturday to his father in a community of retired people, and he asked me to borrow it.
And then?
I gladly gave it to him because it was just collecting dust, and he never returned it to me.
Where is it?
I had asked him if I could actually purchase it since it wasn't in use, and he said, no, you can only borrow it. So I borrowed it and returned it promptly the next day.
Who did you return it to? He says he never got it again.
I took it from his shelf in the living room and I put it right back onto the same exact shelf.
Did you ever tell him, here, I brought it back?
Yes. I said, thank you
Is it
very
on the
much.
shelf? Did anybody look on the shelf? Did you look on the shelf, or it's not on the shelf?
Not on the shelf.
It's not on the shelf.
I don't remember ever seeing it back.
You don't remember seeing it, or you're
never.
testifying to me that it's not on the shelf?
It's not on the shelf.
What shelf did you put it on?
The same shelf I took it from in the living room.
Okay, so if it was there, you would see it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. Somebody's lying.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So let's talk about who's an optimist and who's not an optimist. When you do a friend a favor, do him a solid load of money, you help him out, do you generally get gratitude back in return?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Absolutely. Look at my friends. How could I not?
Okay, fair enough. Do you?
They better, or else there's gonna be problems.
Okay, have there been problems?
I don't want to, it's personal, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'm not believing any of these guys. Going inside the courtroom.
Okay. When did you move out?
Beginning of January 2016.
Why did you move out?
One Sunday morning, I was on my way to work. I wake up and he says, my wife doesn't like you, you have to leave.
When did the wife come in? He was living alone when you moved in. What
He
happened?
suddenly met a wife and got married 2 weeks later, and she said,
Wait. He
"You have to-"
met a woman. He got married 2 weeks later. So how long were you dating before?
2 months, 3 months, something like this.
That's kind of fast.
That's what the Jewish people do. They see you. Listen, we like each other. We come from the
Well, good
same
for you.
city.
Is it working out? Is it working out?
Oh, it's a very heated family relationship, but we are working. She's very intelligent. She's like you. She used to sit on the Supreme Court in Moldova back from the
Okay.
same town. We are from the same town.
All
We
right.
speak the same.
Why did you ask him to leave?
I was doing some work for my friend in Connecticut, and my wife told me that Baruch brought a lady overnight. It was very inappropriate in our opinion because we are observant. We don't want this kind.
Okay. So that offended your wife. So your wife said he's got to go, and then what? And then
I asked
you
him,
asked him
I
to
asked
go.
him to leave.
So where did you go when he asked you to leave?
I got a U-Haul that night and I picked up my stuff. And I
Where'd
had
you
nowhere to go.
Where'd you go?
I went to a hostel.
Okay. And you stayed there for how long? Are you still there?
No, just for a day or two until I got a room.
All right.
She had actually not let me be in the house on my own without Solomon being there because she did not allow me to be in the kitchen, use the fridge, the bathroom was not working.
Did you ever agree to start paying rent once you were there?
I agreed to help with utilities.
Because is that something you hadn't been doing until that point?
I wasn't in the beginning.
Did you ever agree to pay him $250 a month? Is the answer to that no, Judge? I agreed to pay the Verizon bill.
No, Judge. When I moved in, he had begged me not to pay. I would keep him company.
And did he ever change that and say, I think you should pay $250 a month?
No.
No. What are you suing for the new lock? What's that about?
Baruch Nemtsov, you have in front of you the...
Did you take the keys and you didn't give him back the keys?
No, he changed the locks, so they're no longer working.
He changed the locks when?
When he asked me to move out.
How do you know he changed the locks?
I tried to get the rest of my stuff.
Okay. So when you left, you did not give him the keys?
No,
No. All right. So did you ever get all your stuff out?
no,
Did you ever contact him and say, I need to get the rest of my stuff out?
yes.
And what did he say?
He was calling my job and threatening me on my voicemail, said, if you don't pay me, I will find you and make you pay me.
You're charging $75 for packing his belongings?
I had worked more than 3 hours packing all of it.
Why didn't
And-
you just let him back? Oh, because you didn't want to let him back in until he paid you what you felt he owed you?
Right.
Oh,
And
so
he
you were
signed
holding
an
him
affidavit
hostage.
that he will do it.
May I see it?
Yes.
Did you sign this?
Here's the original. Let me take a look.
Yes, I signed this.
All right, in here you say, whose handwriting is this? His?
Yes.
Okay. 1, pay in full whatever I owe and agreed upon past due for occupying one room. If you signed this, it sure sounds like you expected to be paying rent at some point. 2, remove all my personal possessions from the above premises, which according to you, he didn't let you do.
Correct.
Okay.
I disagree.
3, because he wanted you to do 1 before you do 2. 3, return to Mr. Wasserman all keys from the above premises. You still have your keys, right?
I have
Because he
one
didn't let
copy.
you get your stuff and he had changed the locks. So you did sign this, which means, kind of sounds like you agreed that you owed rent.
He had stood in front of the door, not letting me walk past until I signed this to leave his home.
Oh, well, I'd still be standing there now. I mean, why would you sign? You know, everybody who signs something can say that. What do you think is going to happen when you sign stuff? There's no effect to it?
There's
All
no-
right, folks, we're done.
Joanna, whatever he was his, I packed, I brought it over here.
Perfect. You're going to get rid of it today. He's going to take it with him.
Thank you so much.
Okay, lovely. Here's what's going to happen. As far as rent and the lock is concerned, that's $1,380. From that, I am deducting, as you agree I should, any Verizon payments that he made, which leaves a sum total judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the additional amount of a princely $163.56. As for the chauffeur, I don't have enough evidence of that. And I don't know who has it. And if I don't know who has it, then I rule against you because you're the one with the burden of proving to me that it's there. That's my verdict, $163.56 for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails, but he only gets $163. Mr. Nemtsov has just come out of the courtroom. You understand the situation, you signed that document, and that really kind of cooked your goose here in court. You understand?
I do.
Okay. You satisfied? You all right?
That's, you know.
It's the way it goes.
The way it goes.
He has all of your things. Looks like you're going to get them back. You
I'm very
feel
happy
okay
for
about that? Very happy
It's
about that?
About time a year later.
Okay. Thank you so much. You must sign some documents in the back. Now Mr. Wasserman's on his way out of the courtroom. For $163, was it worth all this trouble going to court, filing everything? What do you think?
Probably not. And I have saved for him many hundreds of dollars in personal belongings.
You have. You have. One other personal question. How's marriage?
It's challenging, but enjoyable for both sides.
Very good. Okay. I hope it works out. Okay.
Yes, we are working very hard on it.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Have a
Appreciate
nice
it.
day.
I will.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right away. Okay. Okay, Harvey, what do you think?
So the defendant says, Doug, that he was forced to sign this under duress. Duress means almost having a gun pointed to your head. If you just feel pressure, that is not duress. You can't get out of the deal.